I mean, thank God it was a long stopover. It gave us time to get the boat service, get the new rig in. It was no small feat to just get the boat here, from the Falkland Islands on delivery with a jury rig, with the diesel tanks, with the charter flight, delivery crew, technicians. I mean, it's been, an act of Congress, just to get us to a point where we can start this leg on time. We got today, this afternoon on the water, and then another day and a half probably to get everything sorted, to start with a boat that's 100% competitive, on Sunday. And from a sailing team standpoint, we're very excited, for that to be the case. We're hungry to get back on the water. Yeah, it's funny, a lot of people have asked, kind of how our goals have changed. In a lot of ways they haven't, just because of how we look at the process. For us, it's not really about, July. You can't think about July. You have to think about the leg that you got in front of you. You got to think about, what it's going to be like on departure day, the first shift, the sail changes, how you're going to position yourself. And then if you do all those little things well, that's what's going to dictate your result in the end. I mean, we can only control, how we sail our boat. The other guys are in control of what they do and what their results are. So, we're going to continue to try to keep our own house in order, and then, just hope for the best at the end. But to some extent, at this stage, that's out of our control. Yeah, it's a really complex leg, and it looks like it's going to start pretty soft. And then, a bunch of different transitions up the coast. We got a doldrum crossing. We got the sargassum, the seaweed in the Caribbean, which we have our own ways of dealing with, based on our experience in the last race, but it ain't easy. And then potentially some work with the Gulf Stream on our way north, and then I was in Newport for the stopover. I went home before the chaos, and I can tell you that the weather at home is pretty volatile this time of year. So it's tough to predict exactly what's going to be happening now, this far out. But the weather's changing quickly in that part of the world, and we're just gonna have to see what ends up ripping off the east coast of the United States when we're up there. But it's going to be tricky for sure. It's an unstable weather time of year. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, this time of year, there's only so many things that can transpire. Like I said before, they change quickly. I guess there's a little bit of local knowledge, but most races start in Newport, not end in Newport. So I've certainly sailed in there, a fair share. But it's a little different with the exclusion zones and what have you. But you can't hurt, that's for sure. So we're sailing against a lot of good guys, a lot of smart folks, but it can't hurt. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's we set out to win every leg, and this one's no different. But there's a little extra. For me personally, being from Newport, for the sponsors, 11th Hour being based there, the U.S. is a huge market for Vestas. We're certainly sailing for ourselves and our sponsors, but it's also great to be sailing for the shore team, the suppliers, Volvo, everybody who's helped us, and all our supporters in Newport. We feel like we owe it to everybody who's helped us and supported us to notch a good result on this leg. Yeah, I mean, our mentality is the same, every time we leave the dock, and, we're going to be a disruptive force, certainly, between now and the end of the race. I mean, we've experienced a lot. You couldn't write it if you tried. But having said that, it's not over, and only we control how this crazy story ends. And, we want to be, remembered as the team that triumphed in the face of adversity, and not the team that folded. So we're all pretty motivated.